As of August 2024, Nigeria had at least 84,000 inmates in its correctional centers, but with only 256 custodial centers and combined capacity of about 58,000. Nigeria correctional centers are overcrowded by more than 26,000 inmates. The reason? 68% of inmates are awaiting trial. In this story, Justice Nigeria's Ayuba Iliya speaks to experts to understand why the wheel of justice is so slow in Nigeria and what must be done to unclog the country's justice wheel. Have a look.
The greatest assets that everyone has is freedom.
68% of inmates in Nigeria correctional centers have not been convicted.
I was suffering 1 year, 2 years, 3 years for offense. I didn't commit until 14 years.
While the government says
we decongested our correctional center by releasing those 4,000 people,
the fate of 57,000 others hangs in the balance. "45-year-old Chinedu Eze was a member of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria in the early 2000s. When Chinedu was assigned to drive a client's vehicle from Abuja, the Nigerian capital, to northwestern Sokoto State in November 2005, it was like any other business day.
We were intercepted by some policemen at checking points who were asking for the particulars of the vehicle. So the man quickly gave them the particular of the vehicle. And after going through it, they said they demanded for custom duty of the vehicle. And the man challenged them that it is not their duty to demand for custom duty. That is the duty of the custom.
After an argument ensued, Chinedu and his client were detained and later transferred from Sokoto to the Force CID Anti-Robbery Squad in Abuja.
So they took the man to cell, torturing him to tell them the truth about the vehicle. On the process, the man died.
Chinedu says his refusal to conspire to conceal the identity of his client's killers led to his imprisonment.
I didn't know my offense until we got to the courts.
What was it?
When I was at the dock, they started reading the offense. That is a case of conspiracy, culpable homicide, and armed robbery, punishable to death by hanging.
It took 14 years for the court to deliver a judgment on his case. The presiding judge, Justice Abubakar Talba of the FCT High Court Abuja, in his judgment said, quote, "I hold that the prosecution, having failed to establish its case beyond reasonable doubt, the second defendant, Chinedu Eze, is entitled to the benefit of doubt. Consequently, he is discharged and acquitted on all 3 count charge." Chinedu Eze's case is one of many. There are currently over 84,000 inmates across 256 custodial centers in Nigeria, 26,000 more than their carrying capacities, with 68% of inmates awaiting trial. Everyday experiences shows that many Nigerians living below the poverty line don't see the courts as their first port of call when seeking justice.
We find situations where the police decides to investigate or go ahead with a matter only after money has exchanged hands. Another thing that we find is the criminalization of petty offenses.
The process of arraigning somebody in court involves the process of arresting the person, interrogating the person, doing investigation about what the person have said or between the complainant and the accused, and coming to a probable offense.
It's a matter of procedure in Nigeria. Once a trial judge has been elevated or transferred, if a new judge is going to administer on the case has to start de novo. It has to start all over again.
Aliyu Abubakar is the Director General of Legal Aid Council of Nigeria, responsible for providing free legal representation for indigent citizens. But amidst budgetary constraints, the council is overwhelmed.
For as long as we have the volume, being added into or remanded into correctional centers by the various courts, to realize that it is difficult to clearly feel the impact directly.
When we interact with these people in correctional facilities, they might be there for months, they might be there for years, and they've never interacted with a lawyer, or they have at some point, and the lawyer has to feed himself as well, is tired of continuing doing the work pro bono.
People are being arrested on a daily basis for wandering. So if you are, because of the poverty in the land, if you stay under the bridge sleeping, you just see police task force will wake you up and they will arrest you for being poor.
We are still continuing arresting them, and because they are not permitted. Many of them are living in an unauthorized place. You see them building shanties under the bridge in different bushes around.
Experts identify lack of awareness, arbitrary arrest, legal technicalities, low number of judges as some of the challenges facing the justice system in Nigeria. It's been 5 years since former President Muhammadu Buhari signed into law the new Nigeria Correctional Service Act to reposition the service for reformative functions. But overcrowding remains a deterrent to the administration of standard practice.
The prison system is not correcting anything. When inmates get in there, when they come out, they get hardened.
We have a high percentage of youths, and if these people are in prison, reintegrating them back into the system, they are most likely going to come out when they are still active and vibrant, and they don't have anything meaningful to do. Education, they are not there. Vocational skills, they are not there. The tendency to reoffend and get back into the prison is higher.
With the Nigerian government spending 750 naira or 50 cents per day feeding each inmate, 22 billion naira or $14 million was budgeted for the inmates in 2023. To decongest the correctional facilities, authorities say over 4,000 inmates unable to pay petty fines have been released.
We reached out to the private sector. We raised 585 million and we paid off all the fines. What does that mean to Nigeria? We decongested our correctional center by releasing those 4,000 people. That means we've decongested by 5%. What does that, the 5%, what does it translate to? Numerically, in terms of naira and kobo, it translates to over 1 billion naira in feeding allowance per year.
Ordinarily, that's federal prison to take care of federal offenses, and states should take care of their own. So the budget of the federal government, even for the prison, cannot even meet up with the number of inmates that are coming in.
In March 2023, a constitutional amendment to allow the setup of state prison services was passed, but many states are yet to take advantage of the new law.
The committee is ready. They're starting work next week. We're inaugurating fully next week. They are to do what we call the inmate audit. And that will now lead us to the activation and the full execution of the Correctional Service Act of 2019.
Do solemnly swear.
As Nigeria's new Chief Justice Kudirat Kekere Ekun assumes office, expectations are high for long-awaited reforms.
If there is one thing that the Chief Judge needs to do is to ensure that all appointments from the lower courts to the higher courts are merit-based.
So I feel that we need a reform of the system, and that would come about, having a justice system that allows for, quick dispensation of justice.
For us to have speedy dispensation of justice, for us not to have cases where someone's file is missing, we need to see how well we're leveraging technology.
If you have an issue with the law, regardless of the nature of the issue, and if you are poor and indigent, this is the reason why the Legal Aid Council was set up by government. You can approach the Legal Aid Council and get free legal assistance from the council.
The whole of Nigerian prison, if there is a psychiatrist now, maybe one or two, highest. So at least get that into place.
Chinedu Eze is now a songwriter, singer, and author who wants to share his story through songs and books to inspire hope. But the future of thousands of others in detention hinges on an effective justice system. Ayuba, Iliya, Just Nigeria.
So how should Nigeria address its slow justice system? Share your ideas with us on X at Just Nigeria TV. We'd like to hear from you.